All right, here we are again. Happy Halloween, everyone. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles, here to talk about something completely different that's not anything about vinyl records or music. We're talking about horror movies this time around. So this will be interesting because none of us have anything prepared, and we're all just kind of going off the top of our heads.
Right.
Taking this really seriously.
Truth.
We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. I'm Robert Fithen, along with Craig from Craig's Vinyl Plethora, Mike from Hubtunes, and ladies and gentlemen, the man who knows what happened to Baby Jane, Richard from Calvin Wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, yeah.
But yeah,
You gotta tell us, how are you?
I don't remember the last time I've seen words like that written down. That's a more obscure line from the movie, but that's my favorite line.
Love that.
The maid says that. Or housekeeper or whatever she is.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the last time I saw words like that written down.
And we know what happened to her.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie.
They tried to do that remake or whatever. They did with the great what are their names? It was terrible. It was Lynn Redgrave and
oh dear.
They tried to make a lot of those, like the women. They tried to make a remake of that.
That was terrible.
But you know, Betty Davis was in a really great horror film, Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte.
Yep, great movie.
I saw that at a drive-in when I was like 6 years old.
Oh
my sister took me, and I was like totally freaked out by that movie.
Yeah.
She was also in Burnt Offerings. That's a flat out horror movie. That's not anything. That's not even like a suspense. That's horror movie.
Yeah,
with Oliver Reed and Karen Black, where they're in the haunted house or whatever. And
she was in Harvest Home too.
The Dark Secret of Harvest Home.
The Thomas Tryon novel, which I read. And then the movie wasn't too bad. It was pretty good.
With that screaming little girl that just screams out of nowhere. That's like the cover art on the video. That's a really hard movie to find.
Yes, I don't think I've ever seen even when in VHS days, I don't think I was ever able to find it.
I remember I went to Kansas City with a friend because a friend had to go to Kansas City for some business thing or something. So I went with her, and we stayed in a hotel, and while she went off and did whatever her business thing was that she had to do, I went to Blockbuster Video, and this is how crazy I used to be about movies. I went to Blockbuster Video, rented 6 movies because that's all you could rent at one time, rented a VCP because that's a video cassette player. You used to rent those. I think they were $25 or something like that. You had to put down a deposit, and I would bring my VCR with me, and I would go and look for blank tapes, and I would go and look for movies that I couldn't find anywhere else. And I distinctly remember getting The Dark Secret of Harvest Home in Kansas City. This was like back in the early 90s.
Wow.
I did the same thing when we went to Florida. Same thing when we went to Michigan. I would take my VCR with me, and I would usually take 2 VCRs.
You were a lonely kid, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I used to drive all over looking for movies. I mean, when I would go to movie stores that I'd never been to before, and I would start at one end of the store and look at every single video. And as soon as I saw one that was rare or that I'd never seen before or whatever, could not find anywhere else, boom. When we went to Michigan, I had to mail the videotapes back to the video store because we didn't have time to go back. And so, they came back with me and I mailed them. But I used to be a movie fanatic.
We were Craig and I were talking about this because he has a bunch of DVDs. And I've never been a movie a movie collector. I go to movies all the time. I still try to go to movies a couple times a month. And I've always been that person. When the Netflix, I would rent the videos, and Blockbuster, but I never collected movies. I don't have any DVDs in my house.
Oh wow, I have all kinds. Mine are all the ones that are not easy to find. That's what I always got. I never got the ones where the store was selling their pre-rented copy of whatever, and there's 2 million of them around. I always got the like 70s movies on DVD and 80s movies. I never got like current releases. But yeah, streaming is so weird now because there's so much stuff that's just not available.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it on a piece of physical media, you're not going to see it. And it's not like you can go rent it anymore.
Nope.
So you have to buy it. And really popular big titles are just not available to rent. Or if they are, you have to pay like $8.99 to rent the stream or some stupid shit. I'm not doing that. I'm paying over $5. I want to own it.
You want
a
to
piece of
So way back to the remake of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. It came out in 91 and it was Lynn Redgrave and Vanessa Redgrave.
Oh.
I thought that was a TV.
It was like a TV thing and it's not good.
Maybe I'm thinking of Whatever Happened to Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was like a TV movie that was like a continuation. It wasn't a remake, it was a continuation of the story.
I saw that on TV.
This is a remake and it's not good.
Yeah, Whatever Happened
to
Rosemary's
DVD
Baby's
for
not
Whatever
good
Happened
either.
to Baby Jane. That's about the only way, that I don't think it was ever shown on TV.
No.
Rosemary's Baby is another one. What are you talking about? Guys' eyes are normal.
I've never seen Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, really?
Where's my shirt? I had a Rosemary's Baby shirt that I just got. I wore in one of my recent videos. I think I wore it in one of our videos where it's the Scrabble thing.
Oh yeah, you did.
It says all of them witches.
Yeah, yeah, you wore it.
Oh, isn't there a band called that though?
Yes, there is.
Okay,
without the but they're called All Them Witches.
All them witches.
But yeah, All of Them Witches. That's from Rosemary's Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I always thought I was kind of
assumed it was a
disappointed
band
with
shirt.
that movie. I think it underperformed the hype that I was expecting. But
that's terrible. Say that.
I know it's the classic. Maybe it's like considered.
It's so good.
It's all about the subtext and well, I guess times haven't changed since women are having their rights taken away from them again. But it's all about the woman that is looked upon as being neurotic and crazy, and no one will help her. And everywhere she turns, she keeps falling into these traps, and then it's like eventually, and she's the one, and she knows exactly what's going on, and no one will believe her. And
yeah, she's being gaslit all the time. Maybe it was because I was too young, because I've only watched it once. And that was when it was on TV, and that would have been in the 70s maybe, or the 80s. So I was still a teenager, and I was not very worldly in my knowledge. So
you're wanting to see like Satan and come out of the fireplace and something like it just doesn't have anything like that. I mean, it has the one scene where she has the dream, which really isn't a dream, where she's has sex with the devil, basically.
Oh, that's
but they're probably going to cut a lot of that out on TV.
Oh, that was all cut out. Yeah.
Completely naked.
Yeah, there was just a couple. I remember some vague. There was enough shown, but so much was cut out. But I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
That used to be my rule too. Like I said, I was such a movie fanatic. I had rules. I would never watch an edited for television movie. It had to be on either video at the theater or on a pay channel like HBO or Showtime or Movie Channel or something.
Yeah,
I would never watch stuff on like
that's
TNT or any of that.
Especially horror movies.
Yeah. I was kind of
what started all of that was Porky's.
Also.
Seeing an edited version of Porky's early on, and I'm like, I'm never watching another edited movie again, and I didn't for 40 years.
I won't watch them on TV just because of the commercials, but But I was kind of disappointed by The Howling, and that's supposed to be a super classic horror movie. I
love that movie. Was that was what's his name?
The woman from E.T.
Dee Dee Wallace or
Dee Wallace Stone.
Yeah, that was a good. I like that, but I was a kid when I saw that. I remember I read the book.
Years.
Yeah, and
the best horror movies are the ones you see when you're a kid. I mean, they really. I mean, that whole like ooh, a scary movie, you know, and the kind of the taboo. Ooh, am I even supposed to be watching this kind of thing? I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
why the horror movies that do it for me are just basically watching the same ones I watched growing up. I mean, I tried to watch a lot of the newer ones along the way, and they just are, especially ones that are out now, are just kind of like, yeah.
Well, I have a list since you brought
All
it
right.
Of the best
up.
new
Couple
horror
of weeks
movies.
ago, I do this every like October. I get a list of like what's supposed to be the scariest movies of the year, and I try and now with streaming, it's great. If I didn't see it in the theater, then I can stream it. It's on one of the channels. And so I got my little list of the 10 supposedly scariest movies of the year. Number 10 was The Quiet Place, Day One, which actually was a pretty good movie, but there was absolutely nothing scary
It
about it.
was scary. I fell asleep during it.
I
so
thought it was the best.
I didn't.
Quiet.
I thought it was way too quiet. I thought it was the best of the series.
Yeah, no, it was definitely more entertaining and more like I didn't like the other two. So
Yeah, I like.
I've
the
only
first
seen
one.
the
second
first one.
I didn't even
Yeah.
watch. Yeah,
I didn't. Yeah, I did not like them. They were just kind of, and they were
Yeah.
not scary at all.
yeah. Then I'll just go through these. The Devil's Bath. It was a foreign film. It was creepy and
A
weird.
porn film?
Foreign film.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm like, how much of it have we seen of the devil taking a bath?
Scandalous.
The Devil's Bath.
Well,
I've never
it
heard of
was
that.
a lot of reading. So
yeah,
it
I
was
don't
all
like to read my
subtitles, and
movies.
it was creepy. That's about it. Then stop motion, which I kind of liked. That was about a woman who her mother made stop motion videos, and it just got really weird. And then in the theater, I saw The Substance, which is Demi Moore.
Mhm.
Great movie until the last 10 minutes. It was one of the best movies I've seen in years, until the last 10 minutes. It was so smart and it was really well done. It was real intelligent. Demi Moore was great in it. And then the last 10 minutes, they're like camp.
I
It
didn't
just
even know
got,
that was supposed to be scary. I thought that was supposed to be more of a social commentary. I didn't even
kind
know
of
that was
is.
a horror movie.
That's why it was so good at the beginning, because it was more of a social commentary. And
Yeah.
then the last 10 minutes become a bloodbath, and it's just campy and stupid. Then there's four movies I haven't seen yet: The Infested, Strange Darling, In Flames, and New Life. They're all streaming. You can watch them on anything. I think HBO and Shudder are the two that I've been watching them on. And then my favorite movie of the year so far is The Oddity. This movie was creepy and scary. I love this movie. It's on Shudder, and I think it's also on Netflix. And it was really, really good. My skin was like crawling.
It's called Oddity. I'll have to check that out. I heard about that, but I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah, it got mixed reviews. I really liked it. I thought it was really well done. And then the number one scary movie is supposed to be Late Night with the Devil. I liked the movie. I thought the movie was really well done. There was nothing scary about it, but it had that 70s vibe. It was like that late night 70s talk show vibe. Everything about it had that 70s horror movie kind of feel.
Right.
So I thought it was a really well done movie. I just didn't find it very scary.
I liked it. I just thought they could have done some things different and it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
seen
it was far from a perfect movie, but I enjoyed the movie. I really did. But Oddity was my favorite so far this year. That was a great movie. But I got a few more to watch. And then I'm going to delve into the classics. I watched The Shining the other night, which is one of my all-time favorites. I think when I'm done with this list, I'll probably, I'll do like The Exorcist and Halloween, which is my favorite horror movie of all time. I'll just dig around and see what's on all the channels that are showing like horror movies and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, my classics. I mean, I used to do every October, starting October 1st. I would have my own. They used to have. I don't remember what channel used to do it. I never watched the channel because it was like a basic cable channel. But like the 31 Days of Halloween, I used to have my own version of that every year in October. I would just watch nothing but horror movies, suspense movies. I was never a big fan of the slashers. I mean, they're okay.
Yeah, I don't like
for nostalgic reasons because you get to see the old clothes and the old hairdos and the old actresses and actors. but I was never. I would rather than watch a slasher movie, I would rather watch like a Satan movie or a cult movie or just a suspense type movie. I was never a fan of. Okay, we've got 10 teenagers. 9 of them are going to be killed. Here we go.
Well, because it's
I love it.
You know, it was.
And it's always the ones who have sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were moral tales. I mean, they're morality tales. If you get naked and go swimming, you're going to be killed. If you have sex, you're going to be killed. If you're drinking, you're going to be killed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
smoking the marijuana,
but
you're
going to be killed.
Movies like do so well, you know. Look at the Scream series, man. Those movies make a ton of money, and I don't think they're great. The first couple are
love them.
The first couple are good, but then now it's like, okay. I don't
like the reboot.
I liked One Nightmare on Elm Street, and I think that was number 7.
Oh, I thought
the
New Nightmare.
What? Did you say the second one was good?
He said the 7th one.
But you said the second one.
No, the first one is my favorite.
Oh, I thought you said the second one. I'm like, what?
No, the second.
Yeah, the first one's the good one, and the third one is okay, I guess.
Yeah,
they're all great.
I don't even remember the 7th one. Is that the one that was in 3D?
No, 7th one is New Nightmare when they all are coming back to film another one, and that's what number 7 is. Is that the one you're talking about, Richard? When they all come back?
It seemed like the return of something.
Yeah, Wes Craven is in it, and and Heather.
I thought that is the only one I have seen, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was a pretty decent movie for that type of movie.
The second one is the one that has the gay overtones.
Yes.
There's been a whole documentary made about it called Scream Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about the actor that played the main character in the movie. The second one's kind of a departure. First of all, it's terrible, but it's kind of a departure from the first one. And it's universally panned. It's not just me that doesn't think it's a very good movie, especially when you compare it to the first one. But it's kind of a departure because Freddy Krueger, I guess, if I remember correctly, he's no longer going into people's dreams. He just wants this boy's body.
He's possessed him, yeah.
He wants to possess this boy, and he keeps saying, "I want your body." But the boy screams like a girl. And they did a whole documentary about that scream and how they tried to make him gay, and the actor is gay, and tried to make him gay in the movie and a big sissy and all this gay subtext. There's a scene where he is rolling around in the grass fighting in a jockstrap with another guy. There's a scene where the high school coach it goes to leather bars and whatever, and then he's all in leather, and Freddy ties him up and whips him with a towel in a shower, bare-assed.
This is which one?
Number 2.
Oh, I don't remember this.
Yeah, it has nothing.
Pretty sure I would remember.
Nothing to do with the series. It has nothing to do with the premise of Freddy, because Freddy haunts you in your dreams. He doesn't possess you. That's why it's panned. If you were to watch it on its own, I mean, it's definitely, I don't know, is entertaining the right word? Interesting.
Watch it.
But again, you kind of have to really look at it that it's not part of the series.
You have to look for the gay cues too. I mean, that's what the fun thing. It's on HBO Max.
And they wear those.
I'm sorry, Max.
Yeah, they wear those little teeny tiny shorts
and there's a scene where he's dancing around in his bedroom and he's got that little pop gun and he puts it on his crotch and pops it, and he's dancing around to an early, what's that song, Show Me Love and What It's All About, Baby, or whatever, that came out in the 90s. Robin.
I always.
But he's dancing around to like an 80s version of this because it's 1985. I didn't even know that song was out, and there's a version of it that was out in the 80s. I don't know who does it, but
never heard it.
I'll have to go back and watch. I normally, when I do my binging of Freddy's, I skip 2. I just go from 1 to 3. So I haven't watched it in a long time.
There's all kinds of gay. That one and Sleepaway Camp are the 2. If you're looking for gay subtext or over, not even undertones, overtones with the sleepaway camp with all the guys in the short shorts, and the one guy gets his. I mean, that one guy's definitely not 18 years old, and he's got his ass out, putting it in somebody's face at the very beginning of the movie, and just a lot of. It's like, you know how the slasher movies all have the TNA and the bikinis and whatever, and the chicks. This one's about the guys. They're all in those short. You remember the short shorts we had to wear in the 80s, and your balls would fall out, cock would fall out one side.
Yeah.
I remember it well.
What the hell? That happened to me like a few times in PE. Like you'd be running or something, and all of a sudden, wow, there's a breeze. What? Oh, looks like I've fallen out of my shorts.
That was quite the movie.
I will just put that back in now. Yeah, Sleepaway Camp. The ending, which I don't think we should give away the ending.
No, we shouldn't.
But the ending that's what turns it from gay subtext and undertones to full on. Okay, this movie's ahead of its time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It was ahead of its time, and there were certain clues early in the movie. That were going. So it was a bit of a surprise, but if you were really paying attention, it wasn't that much.
Speaking of Nightmare on Elm Street, there's a Wes Craven movie called Deadly Blessing from 1981 that has a similar finale.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that.
I don't remember that.
I've always gone for the more suspenseful. A recent one that a friend recommended to me. It's a Korean movie called Spaha, The Sixth Finger. And it's about this religious detective. He goes out and uncovers religious frauds and cults, and he finds this particular cult that's based on an ancient Buddhist text. And it is a very creepy film. It's well done, but it's
I like stuff that's like cults. And anything religious, culty kind of stuff. I dig that. That's what
Deadly Blessings like that. It's all about the Deadly
Devil's
Blessing.
Bath was like that.
Yeah.
I love all that shit.
Is this has is it Lisa Hartman is in this?
Hartman?
Oh, speaking of the religious, there's that new one that has, is it Hugh Grant that's in it? Let me look up what it's called. I haven't seen it.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because I'm going to go off about it in a second. But no, just because of the premise of it, which seems kind of cool. Sorry, I'm just finding the name of the...
Oh, were we talking about this the other night?
Yeah, we were talking about it.
Yeah.
So why is it not giving me his movies he's been in? God damn it. We'll continue on. I'll find it and I'll...
The Heretic?
Exorcist 2, The Heretic. That's another part too that we could do without.
Two young missionaries become ensnared in a
deadly game of cat and mouse. That didn't sound right. Yeah, they get trapped or whatever. Now, here's my issue with that. If you're going to do a movie that involves sister missionaries, maybe you should do your research, because it's two female missionaries that knock on a single man's door and go in the house. First off, never would happen. They are not allowed to go into a home with just one man. They have to have other people with them. So that whole thing, I like the idea of what they're doing, but it's ruined it for me. The entire premise, because there's no way in hell those two girls would enter that man's door.
Oh, they walked in.
I wanted to see that now that I know what you're talking about. I know. I want. Is that on streaming somewhere?
I don't think it is yet.
It's brand new. It's a 2024 release.
It came out this year.
I wanted to see that, but it's only in theaters.
Yeah,
I'm not going to a fucking.
Well, it'll be streaming next month.
Yeah, after Halloween's over. Who the hell cares then?
I can watch horror films all year round. So I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street, I typically watch those at Thanksgiving. So
it would still fall in the in November, so I could probably do that.
Yeah, I think you can.
Cold weather, wrapping up in a blanket. And
Right? Yeah.
watching a
Summertime
chilly
is not
movie.
the time for horror movies. It's fall and winter, and yeah.
Yeah.
So I still want to see the movie, but like I said, it would make more sense if they did it with male missionaries. It wouldn't be as suspenseful, I guess, because you have helpless women. But male missionaries, they could have gone into his house. The female missionaries, they would not have even been able to enter.
Well, they want people to watch the movie, so you got to get the girls in there.
Yes, there's the creative license.
Maybe a titty out.
Think of Oliver Stone and his creative license.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true too. But I don't know. I always have an issue with any film that has anything to do with the LDS Church because
pre-credits push like the movie Carrie.
Oh, Carrie. Plug it up. Not very nice to Carrie.
I love the movie adaptations of Stephen King novels, but I do not like Stephen King novels.
Really? I love both.
Yes, there's only a few of his books that I have enjoyed reading. Most of them, he just dives into so much detail. It just bogs things down.
How many have you read?
I've read the novellas in different seasons. Those are all great. And Carrie, and then what's the one about the car?
Christine. That was the first one I ever read. Was Christine?
Christine. That was one I didn't finish because it just was. Then there's the Dead Zone.
All those.
And then
Dead Zone was great.
Christine was the first book I ever read. The first big, large book that I ever read that wasn't an assignment for like school or something.
Mm-hmm. I think it might have been that.
I haven't read that.
The Bachman
and The Shining.
Oh yeah.
Salem's Lot.
Thinner.
All those early ones. I read every one of his books, probably up to like maybe It, and then I kind of started tailing off, not reading as many.
I never read The Shining, and I never read Carrie, but I read I probably have read like 20 of his books.
I read Carrie.
Firestarter was another one that.
That one I didn't care that much for.
But the movie was decent. I liked the movie.
Yeah, with little baby Drew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Needful Things was a really good one, and I like that movie too. And that's another movie that's really, really hard to find.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's a really atmospheric movie. I think it does the book justice. With Ed Harris is one of the lead.
Okay,
yeah. So everybody's gonna run and watch that now.
When you have Misery, of course. I read the book before.
I didn't read the book, but I did see the film. That was
Kathy Bates.
For a long time, Stephen King's movies got kind of panned because people were like, well, Cujo and Chris, they didn't, and Firestarter, they weren't great movies. The books were known to be better. But then, like, when It and Misery, it started coming, then, his movies were really
speaking
there was what was the Sleepwalkers and the one about the Mangler and all those. Yeah, that was not.
Yeah, a lot of the
Lawnmower Man,
Maximum Overdrive.
A lot of those
he directed himself.
Yeah, no one was the one book that I started to read, and that was the guy. He kept talking about the cigarettes the guy smoked, and I'm like,
that's Quitters Incorporated. Shit. That was made into the movie, a part of the movie Cat's Eye.
Oh, I read that.
Yeah.
And what was the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
The Running Man.
Running Man.
Yeah.
And that was a big movie. That was successful.
That was brought by Vestron Pictures after they got money from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, because I've had the time of my life.
Yeah, I owe it all to you. There's a horror movie.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Dirty Dancing?
Why would I ever watch that movie? There's absolutely nothing in that movie that I find even remotely interesting.
That guy that walks in carrying the watermelons, that's a reason to watch it. What the hell is his name?
It's a good movie. But we're not talking about Dirty Dancing. So Have y'all seen Freaky?
No.
Freaky Friday?
No, but close. So Freaky, it has Vince Vaughn in it.
Oh, for God's sakes. I know what you're
Listen,
talking about. No,
yeah.
I have not seen a fucking
It's
Vince
like
Vaughn.
Freaky Friday because it's a teenage girl that gets her body, they get switched with the serial killer.
Oh.
So instead of mom and daughter switching like Freaky Friday, it's a serial killer and a teenage girl. And it's actually quite entertaining. Is it the greatest movie ever?
When did
No,
that
but
come out?
It's a fun, campy
Maybe
watch.
3 years ago, something like
Of
that.
course, you have your token gay guy in it, and
And you have Vince Vaughn in it. That's why I never
Vince Vaughn,
bothered.
but
Yeah, I'm not a Vince
It
Vaughn.
was actually good. I thought, I mean, I don't seek movies with Vince Vaughn in it, but
No.
it was fun watch. I have a Redbox version of it right here. My friend,
Oh, and you don't have to return it. It's yours.
Yeah. Well, no, you had the option to buy it. My friend bought it and then gave it to me. So
Oh,
that's why.
what was the thing I keep hearing about the red boxes now? They still have DVDs in them, and you can rent them, and then you
I
don't have
saw
to take
something
them back
about that too.
because
I thought they'd all disappeared, but now apparently they're coming back.
No, there's
No,
one at my
no.
Joe. There's one at my grocery store.
so the red box has gone out of business.
Yes.
Really?
And the point I was making is apparently you can rent the movie out of the machine, and you don't have to return it.
I've seen people
even-
try to rent them and it won't let you.
Oh, okay.
So they're just sitting there
Didn't
with the
Netflix buy
movies in them,
Redbox?
and you can't do anything with them.
Yeah.
I don't even own a DVD player.
What?
Well, I do.
I do. I have DVDs and I have
Oh, Craig, maybe I'll
burned
come
ones and
over
I've
and watch
got
it with you.
store bought
Yeah,
ones. I've got the 1960 version or 60s version of The Haunting. That's such a great. The remake of that totally sucked with
Yeah.
with
Nicole
who's that
Kidman.
pompous actor.
The original Omen was great.
Oh yeah, I saw that in the theater.
And
what a ugh.
like Robert was saying, it's those movies we watched when we were kids, like you
Yeah.
know those late '70s where we
I
probably
watched it
shouldn't
as
have been
an
watching them
adult.
because we were too young.
Yeah.
To like the
Yeah.
mid-80s.
Now the Omen trilogy I have on Blu-ray. That's how much I'm into that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
I've
just
only seen the first one. It's been years.
it's
you've
great.
only seen the first one. The second one's pretty good.
Second one's good.
He's
I've
a
only seen the
teenager.
first one, and it's been a really long time. And then they redid it like in the 2000s.
Yeah, the remake,
It's
just like
good, but-
anything, you just don't do
Yeah.
the remake. And they've got another one out now, the first Omen or something. I haven't even bothered with it. No, it's the 1976 Omen, and then its sequel, Damien Omen 2, is pretty good. The final conflict is just kind of okay. But it's part of the story, so it's the trilogy. You have him when he's a baby in the first one, he's a teenager in the second one, he's a man in the third one.
Oh.
And you don't really need anything more than that when it comes to
So speaking of like childhood scarier, and trilogies, I guess, which I don't know if it's a trilogy people like, but I do. So my brother took my niece and I to see a movie in 1982. I was 9, she was 5. Made us promise not to get scared. We were, I'm going to take you to this movie, but you have to promise not to get scared. And we were terrified through the whole thing. Again, I was 9. I think of Marsha being 5 years old at this movie. The movie's not.
Did you
scary
wet your
at
little
all.
Mormon underwear?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't wear little Mormon underwears because I wasn't old enough to.
There's an age.
Yeah, and you have
yes,
to go
we've
through
discussed this.
Yeah,
Only
you
the
have to-
elders wear
yeah.
the magic underwear.
and you have to go through the temple and all that stuff. I never did any of that, so I've never had magic underwear. I just had regular, and that was probably fruit of the loom then because I was 9. But anyways, so Poltergeist, of
Yep.
course. So Marsha and I
That
were
was
just
a
so
great
terrified, and
movie.
then the following
Great
year. The following year, they had it on HBO, and my sister had HBO. And Marcia and I were determined that we were going to watch this movie and not get scared. And that summer, we watched the movie 100 times.
I think that the way that the kid reacts to the scary whatever is happening in his bedroom is one of the best, like, scared reactions I think I've ever seen in a movie, where he's like, "Mom, Mom, Mom," and he can't move his mouth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Was
I
that
don't know.
Spielberg
when
directed
Carol
movie?
Ann's in the TV.
Yes.
So I mean, and then
He's
of course,
great with
they
kids.
did 3 Poltergeist films.
Spielberg is the best at coaching kids.
I need to watch Poltergeist 2 and 3 again. It's been a really, I mean, I know they're not as good as the original, but I
No,
mean,
they're not. They're not.
I haven't seen those in so long. I don't even remember.
I
Isn't
watched Poltergeist
Poltergeist 2 is in
2.
a high rise or something, right?
Yeah, part 3 is in the high, and Carol Ann is the only person from the
Yeah.
original. Oh, I'm sorry, and Tangina. They're the
And you
only
never forget what her name is because they say her name like 100 fucking times in that movie.
Oh, Carol Ann.
Carol Ann.
Oh my God,
I
there's
saw
so many
Poltergeist
people.
2 and I wasn't that impressed with it, so I never saw Poltergeist 3. But the first one, holy moly, that has got to be one of the best all-time classic horror, sci-fi, suspense.
I could quote it.
I mean, it's combining everything.
There's a drinking game for you. Every time they say Carol Ann.
Yeah,
in
let's do it.
Poltergeist.
I mean, and you also think like Tangina, what a great character, with Zelda Rubinstein. And there's so many great lines that she says, you know, like, y'all mind hanging back? You're jamming my frequency. And
This house
crossover
This
children.
house is what? This house is clean?
This
Is that what
house is clean.
Yeah.
This house is clean.
Mhm. But Poltergeist 2, you have the creepy preacher guy, Kane.
Yeah.
And that really is
Yeah.
that's like the
Mhm.
scariest part about it. And then he's like knocking on the door and talking to Carol Ann, and then God is in his holy temple.
He's definitely one of the best horror
And he
characters.
died right after that. So
Yeah.
so many people died from the movie. They said there was a curse and stuff. But Poltergeist is always gonna just be really special to me. And
me too.
And I love even the third one is okay. And you have a young Lara Flynn Boyle, isn't it? Before she fucked her face up, when she was still cute.
Don't do that.
Lara Flynn Boyle. She was on the practice.
That sounds like a Louisiana dish you would get at a crab shack.
Twin Peaks, right?
Yeah, she was in Twin Peaks as well. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
I don't remember her.
What about Phantasm? That was always a favorite.
I've never seen that.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, wow.
But I haven't seen that since college, probably. We used to watch it in college when we were
very atmospheric, very, very 70s.
Yeah. Yes. Wow.
It's another one that had some questionable sequels, but yeah.
I haven't thought about
But they always do that.
And The Car. The Car was one of the first horror movies I ever saw from 1977 with the possessed car that comes flying through the window.
I don't remember that.
What about House?
I don't remember how. I know what it is, but I saw it once when it was first out on video, and I don't remember a lot. Is that William Catt in that?
Yeah. They're entertaining. It was fun.
Ouch.
Is there a zombie soldier or something in Fatigues?
In that? It's been a while since I might actually. Do I still have that? I had the double feature of that and House 2, but I don't know if I still have them.
Are we tired of the zombie craze that's been going on for the past 10 years?
I was never big into zombie movies.
Well, when I was in 7th grade, my school, it was junior high. It was out east. So it was probably 6th grade, and they showed Night of the Living Dead in the auditorium on the night of Halloween to like 6th graders.
And that is such a.
And we were allowed to bring
social commentary in that.
We were allowed to bring like blankets. I remember my mom said, "Oh, you can bring your blanket," and we all basically hid under our blankets the whole time. We're in a big auditorium in the school. Wow. It scared the shit out of me.
Wow.
I couldn't watch it for years and years, and everyone was just like, "What? You got to watch it." And then I watched it. I was like, "This is dumb."
It was the same thing with The Exorcist. When I saw The Exorcist when I was a kid, I was terrified. And then when I saw it as an adult, when they did like the 30th anniversary in the theater or whatever, I laughed through the entire movie.
Oh my God. How dare you?
It's hilarious.
It's incredible.
When I was in,
It is hilarious.
I did see it in the theater when they did the anniversary, like you're talking about. It was called The Version You've Never Seen, and there were people laughing in the scene where, because it was a new scene that they hadn't seen before, where she's visiting the doctor, and the doctor is sitting in the doctor's office talking to her, and he just lights up a cigarette and starts smoking it. It's like a smoking doctor. I think people thought that was funny, but nobody was laughing when that Susu demon appeared on the stove or whatever that was.
No, I laughed when her head was spinning. I laughed when she was I thought it was
Let
hilarious.
Jesus
let Jesus fuck you.
My when I was in 7th grade, I shoplifted the book, and my mom found that I was reading the book, and did she freak out. And then she freaked out too because she found out that I shoplifted it.
I think
obviously the devil had something to do with that.
I think it's still
she was a devout Catholic, and so
time.
at that time, I'm sure she not only believed in exorcism, but probably knew what the ritual and the rites were.
Well, she should have appreciated that Catholicism was the only thing that could battle Satan.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't like they had a Baptist preacher up in there.
Oh yeah,
it just had that like I don't know reboot, but it had Ellen Bernstein. I haven't seen it, but they.
I saw it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was good.
I mean, but Linda Blair's not in it, right?
No. You know what?
Linda Blair was in Repossessed with Leslie Nielsen.
That was so great.
Did you ever go to Georgetown to try and find the places where some of the scenes? Yeah.
You know,
I've always wanted to do that, but I've never done it yet.
The Fox had a show a couple years ago called The Exorcist, and it had there were only 2 seasons, and it had what's her name? I think she was not Thelma. She was in Thelma and Louise. Not
Susan Sarandon. Gina Davis.
Yeah, Sarandon.
No, the other one.
Gina Davis.
Gina Davis was in it, and it was on 2 seasons. It was great. It was a really good TV show, and it was creepy and weird, and it got into like the whole cult of the Catholic Church and stuff, which I find fascinating. And it was excellent, really well done, but it got canceled real quick.
Back when Turner Classic Movies was still a thing, they somehow sponsored or was part of this thing where these like 5 or 6 movies would show across the U.S. and they came to St. Louis in 2 different theaters, and I was able to see The Shining. This was only probably about maybe 7 or 8 years ago, maybe a little longer, but I was able to see The Shining in a theater, and in a great print. It wasn't some old like chopped up film. It was a nice print. I was able to see Psycho. We watched Psycho in the theater. We watched Double Indemnity. I wish they would do more of that. I wish they would bring back some of these. I would love to. And I saw The Exorcist, of course, when it was on the, was it 98 or whatever when it came back. But I wish that there was more of that, where you could go to the theater and see Phantasm. You could go to the theater and see the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Not in a fucking somebody's got a DVD hooked up to a
big screen
projection thing. I'm talking about real
movie theater,
an actual movie theater and an actual movie playing. I went and saw Purple Rain in Edwardsville after Prince passed away, and that's what it was. Somebody had a DVD projector in the theater, and you could see that it was not, the quality of a film.
Yeah, we have a place in Chicago called the Music Box, and they do every October they do it all month, and you buy a pass, and you can go to see movies, and it's old, it's on the reel and everything. I mean, it's great.
Wow, I would love that.
They show stuff like The Shining.
I wish they would do that in St. Louis. I don't know why they won't.
Yeah, it's great, and it's it's a big old theater. The seats are really uncomfortable, but it's so
shit, man. They're the worst seats I've ever.
Those seats are the worst.
God. But they do show some great ones. But I would love to see a re-release of something like The Innocents with that Deborah Kerr film from '63 that's based on The Turn of the Screw. That it freaked me out when I saw it as a kid, and it's still a really good suspenseful. I like the kind of suspenseful and horror movies where you never see the monster, or you don't really see the ghost. Everything is built on atmosphere and tension.
Yeah.
And that The Innocents is a great example. The original Haunting is very much like that.
That's kind of like the what's that series? The House on Haunted Hill, or
Oh, what a
House on
great
Haunted
movie that is
Hill.
with Vincent Price
Yeah.
and the skeleton that
Yeah.
comes
Really?
out of the.
really well done. Really well done.
That's
Yeah.
Roddy
There's also another
Is
one
that
they tried
Roddy
to remake.
McDowell in that too?
No,
I don't know.
The series that was on Netflix a couple of
Oh,
years.
but there was the
there was a
film, The
series.
House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Vincent
talking about.
Price
With
was
Vincent
in it. I
Price.
think Roddy McDowell was in it as well.
I used to work at Blockbuster Video, and we had the House on Haunted Hill. And the thing about the version that we had on video, well, first of all, the movie starts off with a scream. You don't hear anything, and all of a sudden, it's this, screeching, woman just screaming, and then ta-da, the House on Haunted Hill. The title card comes up and all that. The video we had. When you put it in and played it, the FBI warning silently came up, went away, and then I think it was whatever the video company was, that logo came up and went away, and then the movie started. Well, the movie starts with that scream. You don't hear, so you hear, like, if you're not watching it, like at Blockbuster Video, where the screens are up on the ceiling, if you're down here looking at videos, you're not paying attention to what's playing up here, but you're hearing it out of speakers. I would put that on, the whole place would be silent while it starts and the FBI warnings play, and then all of a sudden you'd hear I would scare the fuck out of people. I scared this one woman. She dropped all the videos she had, clanged them down on the floor. And then she turned around, looked at me, gave me the dirty look, and walked out of the store. So after that, I was not allowed to do that anymore.
You ruined movie night for her.
Yeah,
I did. I ruined a sale, is what I ruined,
Waffles.
and that's why I wasn't allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah. Y'all ever seen Picture Mommy Dead?
Long time
No.
ago.
Yeah. 1966. Zsa Zsa Gabor is in it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's got some, like, this girl is in a mental hospital because her
Putting it
mom
on my
died,
list.
and then she comes home, and then the house is like freaking her out, and then she sings "The worms crawl in, the worms crawl out in your stomach and out your mouth." Yeah, it's fun. It's really, really hard to find though.
Really?
Yeah,
I bet
as
Shudder
far as
will
I
have
know, it's only been released on VHS, and that was years and
I'll
years
look
and
for it
years
on
ago.
Shudder. I joined Shudder a couple of years ago, and it's great. It's only $5.99 a month, and
maybe I should do that.
if I watch like 3 movies, that covers that.
Yeah, I've got Shudder on my Prime.
Yeah,
It's
it's
one of the
great.
bonus channels on Prime or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good times.
Yeah.
Well,
We
I
done.
used to watch when I was a kid on TV every maybe it was Friday or Saturday night, but I was able to stay up, and I'm only 6 years old, but it doesn't start till like 11 p.m.
Are you gonna say
Theater of Thrills. It was called Theater of Thrills, and they would
Oh.
show a horror movie,
Oh.
every week. And I can remember, like, I guess the Chucky movies must have been developed out of this, because I remember this one film where they were these dolls that came to life, and they had these big, long, really, like, they were like knitting needles, except they were sharp as hell, and they would creep into somebody's bedroom and stab them in the neck. And then
Was it the
there would
movie
be-
Dolls?
I can't remember. I just remember these.
That's a great movie. If you just want a really fun, almost sweet horror movie, it's very sweet. Called. As a matter of fact, by the way, on my own channel, I have
Here it comes.
videos where I talk about and show scenes from horror movies, and Dolls is one of those movies.
Well, we'll
It's a
see
very sweet horror movie.
What
see
year
if
did
it
it
tweaks
come
the
out?
memory cell and
88?
recognize.
Oh,
86, maybe something like that.
oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, this would have been in a movie from the 60s.
Oh, dolls. I don't know.
'Cause,
Village
like,
of the
I'm
Damned
watching
was
it when
like
I'm,
little
like,
kids
5
with
years
glowing
old.
eyes.
So that would have been 1963.
Wow, I don't know that one.
Yeah, there's
I need to
so
watch
many.
it though when I find out what it is. I like dolls coming to life. I like little kids being evil.
I
There's a
do
movie
too.
called The Children where they've been in some sort of nuclear accident or whatever. So the kids all get black fingernails and going around and start hugging people. And when they hug you, it kills you or whatever. There's that one.
Oh, that's sweet.
I like that too.
It's called The Children.
Yeah, yeah. I like dolls coming to life. The only thing I don't like is really like slasher, silly slasher, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'm
like
not
the
into
Friday
that.
the 13th movies. The first one was fine, but I don't, even yeah, and the first Halloween is great, but that's that's not really a slasher movie. That's kind of just a mind fuck. That's just the first Halloween is, I think, probably the best horror movie of all time.
I still like
Yeah,
The
Jamie
Shining.
Lee
probably
Curtis's
top of
debut
mind.
as an actress.
Yeah, and The Shining is still great. And I just watched that the other night. Man, it holds up. It's so well done.
I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah.
It's all about the atmosphere and it's all that. I don't care. I never really cared about blood and gore. I mean, because a lot of it looks so fake and, it's paint and it's whatever. But
yeah, I'd rather have it be a mind game.
Yeah, right. Messes with your head. Yeah.
Oh,
but if you do want to see some gore, watch what's it called? Gates of Hell was one title for it, but the actual title is City of the Living Dead.
Oh,
those
yes,
you ever
I've
seen those
that.
Italian horror movies where it's just all based on much gore and brains coming out and yeah. I review that one on that horror video that I do too.
There were like 2 or 3
There'll be a link
remakes
below.
of
Yes.
God, what was that one? There was it was called I'll have to look it up. Lance Kerwin played this. It was a 70s movie. It was based on the French film Le Diabolique or something like that, where murder is faked.
I think that's what it was called in the United States.
Well, there was one that they called it that too. It was maybe
with the 2 women and the husband
or something. But there in the 70s, it was called something else, and that was the first time I saw it, and it was one of those where the setup and the suspense, kept you going.
Yeah,
and it kept you hanging until the very end.
I saw the old black and white one. I know there was a remake in the 90s or something. I didn't see that one, but yeah, the original French one was great.
Yeah.
Do you like vampire? I love vampire movies.
Some of them. I'm not really big into Twilight and.
No, that's not. That's not.
But yeah, Dracula was.
Yeah.
The
right
Bela Lugosi one is.
Have you ever seen Let the Right One In?
It's a Swedish. I saw that. I just don't remember anything.
Yeah, it's so good. You got to see the Swedish version. Well, they're both good. There's an American version, which is called something else, I think. But the Swedish one is great. Oh my god, it's so good.
But the Hammer Films Draculas, I've got a whole DVD set that's got 4 of them on there, and with the great titles like "Dracula has risen from the grave," "Taste the blood of Dracula," and all those with Christopher Lee playing Dracula. Those are great.
Yeah.
The 1979 Dracula with whatever his name is. I can't remember his name.
Do you remember the movie Wolfen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I remember it, but I didn't watch
that in the theaters, and Albert Finney, I believe, was in that.
Yeah,
I saw that in the theater. My parents let me go see that in the theaters.
Oh, he was in Salem's Lot.
Albert Finney?
No, I'm looking up Lance Kerwin's filmography because I wanted to try and find that, but I didn't realize
he was in Salem's Lot. The original?
Yeah, Salem's Lot just got. The '79 version's great. But it just got remade and is on Max as well. The new one's not.
I heard it's
great.
terrible. Yeah, I heard it's awful. Yeah. The first one. So that's one of Stephen King's. Is that one of his first movies? Or I mean, it's right around the same time as Carrie.
It's like 79. Yeah, it would be before a lot of them. I mean, Carrie was like
I love that
76,
movie.
so I don't know how many came out after that. Shining was
Yeah.
80, so it was before The Shining.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was one of
that
his
was a
first.
TV miniseries. That was like a 4-hour.
Reflections
They
of
had
a
a
Murder.
version that was like an hour and 40 minutes, but it was actually like a 3.5 hour. The full version of that.
Oh,
That
They
was
used to
the
have
film I
both
was
on
looking for.
videotape.
Reflections of a Murder. That's the one that's based on Le Diabolique or whatever.
I don't remember that.
It's from 1974.
There's so many movies.
There's lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
Like frogs.
It could go on and on.
Oh yeah, I mean we're
I
not
love to mention frogs every year.
frogs.
So what's the worst one you've ever seen?
Too many to name.
Frogs.
Probably more.
It's the best and the worst.
Frogs.
Frogs. It's the best and the worst. Joan Van Ark. People get murdered by frogs. I mention it every Halloween because it's that great.
It's also got Joan Van Ark. She's
What's
awesome.
that sci-fi horror film from like the 50s where the monster looks like an upside down ice cream cone?
Oh, that sounds good.
I know that one.
But
Forbidden Planet? I don't
the
know.
thing that came from space. I don't know.
You know what
It's
I don't like is when people walk like spiders upside down, and you can hear
They
that.
added that scene on that.
That shit creeps me out.
The Exorcist has that scene in it on
Yeah,
the newer
yeah.
one, and I don't think that adds to the movie. It looks too
I don't know
weird.
if I don't know if I don't like it or if it just gives me the willies, and that's why I don't like it. Anytime I see like a human being walking upside down like a spider, I'm just like, ugh, it's just, you know what
It's overdone now, though.
You know what they recently did it? Did you see the American Horror Story Provincetown?
I never saw any of those.
It was vampires. It's really well done. It's it was like one of those short season ones where it's only like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's all vampires and they're in Provincetown, and of course they're in Provincetown, so they're gay. And they're just all just like every time they walk, they're like you can hear their bones, like, and they go upside down and they walk like spiders and shit, and it's just so creepy and weird.
There were a lot of Japanese horror movies where a lot of that came from, like The Ring and all that. You know, where they have that freaky, and then they're contorting in these
and the
weird
Grudge.
ways.
Yeah. I say I hate it, but man, I think I like it.
All right.
I think we've had enough of scary time.
Yeah, we've gone an hour, and we could probably go 6 or 7 hours. We have to save some for next year.
Yeah.
Where we'll probably talk a lot about some of the same ones.
Same shit, but nobody.
We'll have to have a rule that we have to have all different ones for next year.
Like
this is our third Halloween.
We'll remember. Yep, third Halloween.
All right, well, happy Halloween, everyone. Hopefully you'll get all the candy that you want, and you'll watch some of the movies that we have talked about if you haven't seen them, or even if you have seen them, you'll revisit them, because there's nothing like revisiting those chills and thrills from your early years. I think that's really what a lot of it's about for me. But I will say that the double. And what was the one you said that's your favorite from this year?
I think it's just called Oddity.
Oddity. I was going to watch that, and then I didn't watch it because I heard it got bad reviews, but I'll have to check that out.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Hereditary is another one that, the title sounds like Oddity, so I just thought of it. But that's another
Hereditary is
more of a current
horror
movie. All right, thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you again next time when the topic will be back to music. We'll talk about our favorite and least favorite songs from 1965. And yes, we'll also review The Velvet Rope from Janet Jackson, Craig's suggestion. We'll see what we all think about that release, and all kinds of fun stuff coming up.
Awesome.
So please join us. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. I'm Robert Fitton, along with
Richard at Calvin Wazoo,
Craig's Vinyl Plethora,
Mike at Huptons.
Hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Hopefully.
Boo.
Hopefully spooky
Halloween.
Mm-hmm.